Okay, thank you for being with us. This is About Face, and we're really honored to have with us Jimmy Hall from the Jeff Beck Group and also from Wet Willie. Everybody, I think, watching remembers Wet Willie through the years, and Jimmy Hall particularly. And I got to tell you, it's an honor to have you here as a fan of yours through so many years, since the early 70s. We would go everywhere we could to see Wet Willie, and particularly it was you. You were the greatest out there. As a singer and a frontman out of the South, you were just the greatest.
Well, thank you.
And I really mean that.
Thank you.
Sincerely.
It's good to be here and kind of look back at all those things.
You know, you grew up in Mobile.
Yep.
And so then that was the base of Wet Willie through those early years. Let me jump to something quickly here.
Okay.
Through these years as a singer and then as a member of the band, Hank Williams Band,
Right.
as the harp player, and now after the Wet Willie transition, you were and still are the vocalist with the Jeff Beck Group. How did that happen?
How did it happen that I worked with Jeff?
Yeah. How did you guys come together?
Oh, it's such a long and interesting story and a long friendship, basically. God, I look back and I was a fan of his music in the Yardbirds in the 60s, in the first groups that I was in, and sang his songs, sang For Your Love and all those hits he had. And to get to meet him, Wet Willie got to tour with Jeff in 1973, and his band was called Beck, Bogert, and Appice, and that was a trio. He had a trio that he had recorded with those two guys from Vanilla Fudge, and we had just excuse me, we had just recorded the album Drippin' Wet Live at the Warehouse. Our, pretty famous live album that we did there. I think you said you might have been there.
Yeah, I was at many Warehouse concerts with Wet Willie.
Exactly. And so we had this album out and wanted to promote it. And our booking agency and his management got together and said, well, our agency said, why don't we get Wet Willie on this tour with Jeff Beck? And they put it together. Maybe 40 shows all over the States. And it was a beginning of a friendship. I mean, working with Jeff and his group every night. He invited me. At one point, he just said, Jimmy, why don't you come out and sing with us? We're going to do a jam at the end of the set. Why don't you come out and sing with us? And sing a blues song like Going Down, or he did one called Blues Deluxe. And bring your harmonica. So I said, sure, let's do it. I want to jam with you guys. So I got up there and we tried it one night, and he just was so excited. He said, let's try it tomorrow night. That was fun. People love it. So we continued doing that. And one night he just looked at me. We had had a particularly good night, and the crowd was into it. And he said, you got to promise me that you're going to do a record with me one day. Promise me we're going to record one day. And I shook his hand. I said, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready for that. I'm ready to do that. So that led to a friendship that lasted through the years into, and we stayed in contact for a few years there. He came to Atlanta in 1980 and played with his band at the Fox Theater. And I was in Nashville at that time, and he called me and he said, we're going to play the Fox Theater. Why don't you come over and see us? And I want you to come and sing maybe an encore song, sing Going Down. And I went over and we caught up, just visiting about what's going on in our careers. And so I sang with him that night, and it kind of rekindled his appreciation of what I do. And he's like, man, you're still killing it. I love your vocals, and let's stay in touch. So fast forward, I don't want to get this going to be a long story, but 1984, I get a call from him and his management, and they're saying, we're in the studio in New York and recording a new album, and we need a vocalist. Nile Rodgers from the band Chic and he's a great producer too. is producing a record on me, and I need a singer. And we got some tracks recorded, and this is like on a, say it's a Tuesday night. Can you be here on Thursday night? It's that fast. You think you can put this together and fly to New York? At that time, my wife Karen was pregnant with our second son and due to deliver any day, within a week, give or take. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna leave and she's gonna go into labor. I said, okay, Jeff, look, my wife's gonna have a baby any day now. Is there a way I can make sure I have a flight ready, a private plane or just on hold to get back home? He said, yeah, we'll work that out. No problem, we'll work that out. So I said, okay, Karen, what do you think? She says, this baby's gonna wait. You go to New York, go in the studio and do this thing, and then we'll wait for you, me and this baby. We knew it was a boy, so. I go and we start recording on Thursday. Thursday night, we record. This is the album that was called Flash, and I sang several songs on it. So we record which was the single, a song called Ambitious, and a few of the other songs. We got about four of the main tracks done, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And things went well. I was really happy, and Nile Rodgers was, God, you sing great. I love what you're doing. So we finish on Saturday. I get on a plane on Sunday morning, fly home early, get home about sometime in the early morning. Karen goes into labor as soon as I get home. We go to the hospital. Baby's born at noon on Sunday, June 24th, 1984. Jeff Beck's birthday, it just happened to be Jeff Beck's birthday, and our son Alexander Jeffrey Hall was born, named after Jeff.
Wow, that's a great story.
Hello, Gulf Coast. Jason Pilger here at Jason Pilger Hyundai. Right now, get up to $5,000 off new Hyundais. Just say you heard it on Carson's Bargains. Mention that, and you'll get up to $5,000 off new Hyundais. So come see us today at Jason Pilger Hyundai, Highway 90, Goshen.
Every night at 9 p.m., The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Ocean 7, and Pilger Hyundai will bring the public unprecedented savings on every brand new Hyundai in stock.
This is our Graze Box. It's a great way to snack. Fresh, tasty, and created using only the best ingredients. Choose from our range of over 90 delicious snacks. We'd like to invite you to try a hand-picked box for free. Go to Graze.com and we'll send a free box directly to your office or home. It may even help you keep your hand out of the cookie jar.
Go to Graze.com and enter the code EAT83 for a free box.
Graze.com. Snacking. Reinvented.
It's AARP. Let me just...
Wait, are you joining AARP?
Actually, I just did.
Really? I didn't think we were ready for AARP. Is it worth it?
Well, just today, I saved on concert tickets, read a great article on investing, found a sweet travel deal, used the caregiver finder for my dad, and done. Discounted movie tickets.
If you don't think instant benefits when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Join today for just $12 and get discounts. So many ways to save. Instant resources and just the right offers find you at just the right time. Plus, as a member, your voice will be heard. Join today for just $12. It's not too soon.
Call 1-800-991-1560.
And join AARP for just $12 for your first year. You'll also get this travel bag free.
Call 1-800-991-1560.
Or visit tryaarp.org.
This is About Face, and I'm Edward St. Pé. We've got Jimmy Hall from Wet Willie, Jeff Beck Group, among other bands, with us today, and very proud to have him in our studio talking to him about his career. Yep. And we were talking about how you hooked up with Beck and became a vocalist with him through many, many, many years now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just been such a treat and a blessing. It's just been a wonderful thing. I was thinking about the tours we did through the years, and the first one was 1986, and then we did a 3-night tribute to Jeff's career in 2002 at Royal Festival Hall that had all kinds of special guests: Roger Waters, Imogen Heap, Roger Waters, John McLaughlin, and all that. And he introduces me when I come out as my favorite singer in the whole world, and I'm going, oh, that's me. Wait a minute. Okay. Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
Well, you know, Wet Willie, here's a question.
Yep.
You know, you were able to like translate blues in a way that was just a perfect fit with rock at that time. And what was your youth like? Where did you connect with blues and black music?
Grew up in Mobile, and at a time where AM radio was what we listened to.
Right.
You know, transistors and then little boom boxes or whatever. But AM radio had every genre of music, from country to rock and roll and blues and R&B. And so I heard a lot of R&B there in that town, and it always caught my interest. And I started hearing artists. I realized that the records I listened to in my house got there because my dad was an avid music collector, and he'd bring in Ray Charles, or he'd bring in James Brown, or he'd bring in jazz from Louis Armstrong or Al Hurt from New Orleans. And so I listened to a lot of that growing up. And just hearing artists like Otis Redding, James Brown, Sam Cooke. So many people point to Sam Cooke as the guy.
His voice.
The number one. And I still go back to him for a source of inspiration. Stevie Wonder, Van Morrison, especially in the 60s. But I just absorbed a lot of that and kind of made it my own. And in Wet Willie, we kind of coined, we thought we coined it, I think we did, called, we call our music rock and soul instead of rock and roll. It was a mixture of blues and soul and rock and roll.
But you translated, you know, your liking of that genre of music, but you were able to translate it with your voice too, and actually nail it in a way that's. How did you? At what point did you know you were going to be a musician and a singer? How did you? And especially somebody that can do it so well. I mean,
there were. I mean, I could touch on a few situations. I go back and think about, and people will ask me, when did you realize you had a gift or that you could really sing? And I don't remember the first time. I mean, I was so young. But in grade school, 3rd, 4th grade, there was always a program. There was always a little skit or a play. And they wanted somebody that, okay, we needed somebody who can sing this song, and I could do it. And one event that they put on and I participated was a little fashion show, and they did some songs from musicals, and I did Singing in the Rain with a raincoat and galoshes. With Susan Rouillet was my partner, and she, you know, we were going a little dance steps. And then 5th grade, we had HMS Pinafore that we're going to put on this musical, and they needed a lead character. And I tried out for it and got the part of Ralph Rackstraw. He's the main guy who gets the girl in the end. And so I learned all these songs and got up there. And I just remember that night, the singing, and people were loving what we were doing. And up there, and I got costumes on and having a lot of fun with it. And that was one of the first times I ever remember going, people like this. People enjoy what I'm doing, and I enjoy. I'm really happy up here. So that kind of rolled on into my first little combos, my first little bands, and when I was 15, 16 years old, and you know, a starter bands, I think you'd look at it. And it kind of went from there, just learning how to sing in front of a crowd and just honing our craft, honing our bands, and getting things tight before we became Wet Willie.
And then the harmonica and the saxophone.
Yeah. I started playing harmonica, I think. I got one right here.
Yeah. You happen to be mic'd up too.
Yeah. Well, so this is a diatonic, is the specific type of harmonica or term for it. 10 holes. A short story. I always liked the sound of the harmonica, and I can remember some of the first records or songs I heard on the radio were Jimmy Reed singing like Big Boss Man, or who did Scratch My Back? Not Lazy Lester, but what anyway? Slim Harpo.
Slim Harpo.
Did Scratch My Back. That was on AM radio. So I like those songs, but one song, the Rolling Stones, one of their first albums called Now, Rolling Stones Now, and had a lot of blues on it. Little Red Rooster. And I don't know if it was Mick, it probably was Mick playing harmonica. And I listened to that and said, I want to play a harmonica. And my birthday was coming up pretty soon, and I was talking to my brother about it. And so my birthday comes around, and my brother says, I got a present for you for your birthday. And I said, what is it? He gives me this box, and I open it up, and it's a big harmonica about this big. It's one of these chromatic with a button on it and about, I don't know, 20 holes on it. And I'm going, wow, that's fancy. So I picked it up and tried to play it, and it was, I don't know, it's more difficult. You have to push the button, and you gotta know sharps and flats or whatever. And I'm looking at that going, I can't really make that work right easily. I think this is not a starter harmonica. This is not where I should be starting. Let's go back to the store, and we can get some of that money back, because I know you spent too much on it, okay? So we went back in, and I said, let's just get one of these. Let me start on that. I'll work up to this fancier model, this more.
So,
and I did.
We're going to take a break and come back, and if you would, we'd just play a few notes for us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
well,
we're back with Jimmy Hall after this.
Attention those implanted with a hernia surgical mesh. If you have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement, listen closely. Some have experienced infection, chronic pain, mesh failure, and other complications after being implanted with a hernia mesh device. Because of this, some of these mesh devices have been recalled by the FDA, but devices are still being used and may cause serious complications. If you or a loved one have had hernia repair surgery with mesh reinforcement and suffered infection, chronic pain, mesh migration, mesh failure, organ damage, or needed additional surgery, call the Rely On Group right now. You may be eligible to receive a cash award and compensation for your medical expenses. If you or a loved one have experienced any of these issues after the implantation of a physio mesh or a selection of other common hernia meshes, your voice deserves to be heard. Call the Rely On Group to be connected with a personal injury attorney for a free consultation. Call 800-898-4210.
I'm an insect ninja. I'm mostly self-trained in the Eastern art of battling insects, and I use a variety of weapons. Throwing stars, the nunchucks, whatever gets the job done.
There is a better way. Bengal's entire line of premium products for all your insect problems in and around the house. Bengal products really work.
Wasp. sometimes there is a little collateral damage.
Attention! Royal Seas Cruises has just announced their deal of the day, a $99 Caribbean cruise for 2 people. This amazing cruise deal to the Bahamas is only available to the first 500 callers who register in your area today. That's $99 per couple, including your stateroom, all your delicious meals, full spa, live entertainment, 3 kids clubs, and more. Come see why we were voted one of the top 10 best overall cruises by Cruise Critic.
Call 800-894-8648.
Okay, now we're back. I wanted to ask you a question, which I'll ask you, and through your career, through all these years, was there, if you can synopsize, was there a moment, an about face, if you will, like the name of the show, where it set you on a direction, which gave you fulfillment and success in life, a moment?
Well, there were several key points in my life where I think I was pointed in a direction. And now that I'm really looking back, one was we were still in Mobile. Me and my brother and the other members that became Wet Willie. We were still here. And really thinking about where we wanted to go with our career and what the next step would be. And I just remember some of my friends who I played music with through high school were branching off and pursuing other careers, their plan B, if you want to call it that. And I remember thinking, I don't have a plan B. This is my number one thing that I want to do. And I have the talent, and I've been kind of shown the way and encouraged to pursue music. And I remember somebody, one of my friends saying, you're gonna pursue music? You want to be, that's what you're gonna do? You're gonna be a singer? And I said, yeah, that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm gonna pursue come hell or high water. And it was almost like they were, this particular friend and some of the others were going, oh, I don't know if you can do that. Or they didn't believe they could do it, and they were kind of jumping off that train of playing music and going into whatever sciences or other careers that they were going to do. And I said, no, that's what I'm going to do. And from that point forward, Wet Willie, myself, we decided we're going to Macon, Georgia. We're going to try to connect with the Allman Brothers label and see if we can get signed. And we did that. We networked our way. Ricky Hirsch, our guitarist at that time, had a friend that was a studio player at Capricorn in Macon. And we talked to him and sort of worked our way in and set up an audition in Macon for Phil Walden and Frank Fenner, who were the heads of the label. They didn't want a tape or any recorded. They wanted you to set up and play a show for them live in their studio, and we did that.
And that was the biggest thing coming out of the South. I mean, that was Capricorn Records, Allman Brothers, everybody. And you guys were...
We just envisioned and set our goal as that's what we're going to do, and let's go for it. And I guess we were just like, well, hell, we did it. We said we're going to do it, and we did it. And all of a sudden, we're in Macon. We're signed to the same label as the Allman Brothers. We're in the studio recording that first album in 1970. As soon as that album was released, we're on tour with the Allmans, with Duane Allman, Barry Oakley still there. Just I savor every memory of those guys because they're not here. And it was like getting on a train, and here we go, boys. We got to deliver now.
You know, this show, we're out of time, but as we're getting out right now, we didn't play the harmonica yet. Would you take us out?
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. See you next time.
Thank you.
Hello, Gulf Coast. Jason Pilger here at Jason Pilger Hyundai. Right now, get up to $5,000 off new Hyundais. Just say you heard it on Carson's Bargains. Mention that, and you'll get up to $5,000 off new Hyundais. So come see us today at Jason Pilger Hyundai, Highway 90, Goshen.
Every night at 9 p.m., The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Ocean 7, and Pilger Hyundai will bring the public unprecedented savings on every brand new Hyundai in stock.
It's AARP. Let me just...
Wait, are you joining AARP?
Actually, I just did.
Really? I didn't think we were ready for AARP. Is it worth it?
Well, just today, I saved on concert tickets, read a great article on investing, found a sweet travel deal, used the caregiver finder for my dad, and done. Discounted movie tickets.
If you don't think instant benefits when you think AARP, then you don't know ARP. Join today for just $12 and get discounts. So many ways to save. Instant resources and just the right offers find you at just the right time. Plus, as a member, your voice will be heard. Join today for just $12. It's not too soon.
Call 1-800-991-1560.
And join AARP for just $12 for your first year. You'll also get this travel bag free.
Call 1-800-991-1560.
Or visit tryaarp.org.